2 years ago Netflix made a movie about some tweens in a dance club. It was very controversial in the US. Many people got very angry about it. They wanted to boycott Netflix, etc. I've never seen the movie. I don't want to see it. I have some kind of block. Having grown up in a country with a very long sex-phobic Puritan tradition, I feel repulsed by the idea of 10-year-olds twerking. I feel uncomfortable watching this very old footage of a 3-year-old too. Objectively, I know that there is zero evidence that it's harmful. Children dressing up and imitating adults is the most normal and natural thing they can do. We had to be taught to act like we are asexual in front of our parents. Just like we had to be taught not to pick our noses in public. My environment as a kid taught me that 10-year-olds should have no sexuality, and so a movie like Cuties is breaking a taboo. I believe that it's possible to feel disgust, while at the same time acknowledging that it is only a feeling. I hope that I, and society as a whole, can think rationally long enough to realize that 10-year-olds twerking harms no one, anywhere, ever. Probably some hebephiles are sexually attracted to these young females who are in Tanner stages 2 and 3. Having sexual attractions does not make people rapists. My local priest is hot as fuck, and I haven't raped him once. I haven't even tried to seduce him. I'm married, and he's a priest. We all feel sexually aroused sometimes. That is not the cause of sex crime. In the 1980s, the exciting new way to view content was the video cassette recorder. Suddenly men could watch porn in the privacy of their own homes. Not all the porn was hardcore. Playboy and Penthouse started making erotic videos with nudity but not much touching. An even milder form was swimsuit models. The broadcast TV version of all this was, of course, Baywatch. Many parents forbade their children to watch it. It was too sexy. Many men watched it precisely because it was too sexy. Some feminists hated it because it was the exploitation of women. Other feminists loved it because free expression of our sexuality is liberating. We reacted to Baywatch the same way we reacted to other very softcore porn. Remember my video about how the age of biological adulthood has fallen while the age of social adulthood has been constantly rising? The short version is that since the 1990s American society has created a bizarre, unnatural, artificially extended childhood which lasts from age 13 to 19. Or maybe 25 or 30, depending on who you ask.
It ends around 24, or some people say 34.
This phenomenon is brand new. It is also weird as fuck. In science fiction they'd call it an anomaly.
An anomaly?
Something that exists nowhere else. Why on earth would a country suddenly label 12 million young adults children? It makes no sense. There were, of course, children on Baywatch. There were a few old people too. Mostly there were beautiful young adults. But remember, when Baywatch was made, young adults were post-pubescent people. Since then, 12 million young adults have been stripped of their adult status, and now must be treated like children. If you say you think a teenager is sexy, you'll be accused of pedophilia.
Miss Teen, South Carolina,
I gotta be honest. I mean, I thought she was kind of appealing.
I thought she was hot.
You're a real fucking sicko.
But we all know that all of the Miss Teen USA pageant contestants are sexy. When the pageant was founded, teenagers were adults. Now that teens are considered children, we find ourselves repulsed by our own completely normal reactions to seeing beautiful sexy young women. So this podcaster seeing a beautiful young man on his TV screen thinks, wow. sexy.
When you look at him and you're like, okay, cool, and then you find out his age, and all of a sudden it becomes not cool.
But it's not cool to find a teenager sexually attractive. But David Charvet was extremely hot when he was under 20. So what's the solution? Could they be honest about the fact that nature turned teenage David Charvet into a delicious hunk of a man? Nope. That's taboo. The only solution is to be very disgusted, and angry, at the makers of Baywatch for showing obviously very sexy people who are now considered children.
Who is literally a high schooler.
This is very, very bad. And I don't like it. Sure, I understand Gambler's High, but I don't understand making out with like an 18-year-old.
It's not great. Still gross.
Yeah.
And
wait, and he's still under 18, right?
No, he's out of high school.
in high school.
I don't want to hear.
And it's never clear other than that.
I don't want to hear about teens doing it on lawn chairs. So, ew. Okay.
In the 1990s, when that episode was made, 18-year-olds were adults. Millennials have a hard time comprehending that fact.
They make him a lot hornier than I would personally appreciate them doing.
Yeah.
Really put off by that. Like, for some, maybe I'm just a prude in my old age, but
these other podcasters are absolutely flummoxed by the idea that they're allowed to look at sexy young women on the beach.
Year-olds in bikinis.
I was like, can I get arrested for watching this content?
I'm just like, why is this on TV?
Yeah.
It's strange.
It's so weird, and we're talking like...
They have no idea that just 30 years ago teenagers were young adults, with rights, with agency over their own bodies. At the time when these podcasters were born, society still respected teens' bodily autonomy. At that time, teens weren't forced to hide their normal, natural, healthy young adult sexuality. And TV producers weren't required to pretend it doesn't exist.
And it's weird that she's jealous. Like, that's what I think is so interesting. Like, she's like really like frustrated at these girls for having eyes for her man, and like, these are children.
Yeah. It is very odd.
It's so weird. The girls are like frolicking in the waves, and like, I'm like, these are children, and it's so weird.
Their culture taught them that teens are children. And also that children have no sexuality. Neither of those statements is true. Science is still real, despite the incredible strength of Puritan dogmas. I grew up at a time when our culture said children have no sexuality. That's why I feel disgust at cuties. But when I was a kid, we all knew that puberty is what makes you an adult. So for me to see sexy 15 or 18-year-olds is no problem. They are young adults. These millennial podcasters, on the other hand, grew up at a time when teens were children. They see the same images. They feel the same, wow, those are hot chicks. But it makes them extremely uncomfortable. They feel like they are being tempted into pedophilic perversion.
This episode, like, it really made you complicit in, because it sexualized all these, like, young...
Some admit they don't understand.
And I don't understand.
Oh, what is this? Like,
Others lash out.
And I looked it up. That adolescence is. So
somebody check David Bratt's computer.
What's going on with him? Yeah.
They are in full denial.
Like, these are children.
Yeah.
Teenage women sometimes want to have sex with a really hot guy who is 5 or 10 years older than her. Why not show that on TV? Oh, yeah, you have a Puritan sex taboo. We as a society are in psychological deep shit. We are panicking over ridiculous, harmless bullshit.
This is very, very bad.
I was like,
Yeah.
can I get arrested for watching this
Right.
content?
There is absolutely nothing wrong with young adults aged 14 to 18 having normal, happy, healthy sex lives. Nobody will be totally traumatized if we accept the fact that puberty is the beginning of adulthood. Quite the opposite. The only solution is to be honest with ourselves. The tension created by constantly lying is very unhealthy. Show a screenshot like this to 100 men, and ask, do you think she's sexy? If they say no, they're lying. If they say yes, they risk being called a pedophile. So most will hedge. They'll say, I don't know, she looks kinda young. Or they'll find some other excuse for not answering. An American man cannot win in that situation. Because his culture has adopted a dogma of lies. So let's stop it. Let's be honest. Let's accept normal sexual attractions. Let's stop shaming people who have harmed no one. Let's stop running around accusing everybody of pedophilia, because we couldn't be bothered to actually learn what pedophilia is. Let's stop the hysteria.